I don't think this is that complex a thing, man. I feel like we're just ridiculously early in the days of exploring how to really use the internet. Like, it's such an incredibly short blip in the whole history of the internet that we're starting to really explore how to do things like not just have a linear common sort of forum, but more intelligent conversations designed to really surface the best in all of us, not just socially in terms of how we engage with each other respectfully, but also how to kind of best inspire ideas bouncing off one another and building upon each other. You know, like, you just go to any extremely well facilitated thing, you know, workshop, like Art of Hosting, for example. You know, you can go to an incredibly shittily facilitated thing, and there can be brilliant people spending a good amount of time together in the perfect physical space, but the facilitator's just pants, and nothing particularly interesting or productive can come out of that group session. Now, I see the internet as the facilitator, and they're also kind of the physical space as well. And obviously people choose how long to spend there, and, you know, who's actually in the digital room. But I think we can learn so much more from very good offline facilitation and try and bring that into the online domain. And it's not fucking rocket science, man. Like, there's like, taking a sort of living example, like Represent. If you go to represent.me, you'll see I think possibly the most exciting, pretty fast moving as well, sort of e-democracy sort of web platform, and there's an app as well now on Android and I think iPhone. Represent is great. I'm particularly excited that it's starting to dabble with liquid democracy, which I think is the only viable form of democracy. But that doesn't mean that it's automatically brilliant. You know, you can implement liquid democracy really badly as well. There's still shitloads of decisions to make around user interface and user journey and stuff. I think it's harder to implement representative democracy really well, or direct democracy, like a lot of online sort of e-democracy platforms are. If you don't know what liquid democracy is, I think fucking find out, because it's just incredibly important. And there's you know, 5-minute videos on YouTube explaining it. It's basically the best of both worlds, or at the very least it has the potential to be the best of both worlds. So I think, yeah, just kind of closing off on using Represent as an example. I think there's like just 2 or 3 features to add on to Represent that would just be totally game changing, as long as they are sort of really on it with strategy. And you know, there should be some competition in this space, I think, you know, rather than just leaving it to a small team, you know, just to make the solution for everyone. Although Represent are doing the thing that you have to do, I think, if you're creating a e-democracy sort of disruption, which is use their own tool on themselves, eating their own dog food, if you like. So there's a group on Represent for designing Represent, and you can propose things. Represent should do this or do that, and people can vote up and down each other's ideas and comment on them. You give your reasons why you have a particular stance for or against something. And yeah, Represent covers agriculture, education, energy, local issues, and unfortunately, in my opinion, all other kinds of things as well, and ventures painfully close to sort of survey land where people just ask random questions. It's great to allow anyone to ask questions, but I'd like a better way to just filter out the shit that is wasting my time, in the sense that I'm voting on stuff, I'm giving my reasons, I'm backing up my opinions on stuff, and you know, I have no idea whether it's, you know, how likely it is to actually influence a real world decision. I want to know that. That's an important thing for me to know. You know, it could be a spectrum, it could be, you know, the local council has actually asked these questions, you know, because they're listening already for the answer, and then other questions, might sound like they're asked by the council, but no one's actually listening. We'll be lucky if we get the council to listen. There's a difference there. I would work with councils or in one particular place where you convince the decision makers to actually put the questions on that platform, and then people are going to answer them because they know it's not falling upon deaf ears. And you can market that. You can say, we're working with the council, they've asked these questions, please respond, you've got 1 month, go. Building upon ideas and improving them. Represent really fucking fails at that, man. It's you put an idea out there, people you've never met before give their opinions, why they're for or against it, they add information, brilliant. Then what? We need a way to evolve the ideas. Learn from GitHub and SourceForge, learn from the open source software world. That's the whole point of consensus and consent-based decision-making circles. This is what I mean by good facilitation and group work. Build upon ideas, actually listen to people. My favourite button that is on Represent is when you change your mind about something. If you begin for and then you change against, it says, why did you change your opinion? And I just think, I don't know what's done with that information, but that is incredible. I think that's their best success metric. Is being able to record how this platform's managed to change people's mind, because to achieve that you must have created some kind of culture of open-mindedness and real listening and learning to achieve that. And then the interrelationship between proposals as well, I think. So this proposal, if implemented, would undermine or contravene this proposal and that proposal. They understand their relationship to one another. Because unfortunately, even if I hate the, let's say, Tory government currently in power, the fact is that they do have an overarching vision for the city, and rather than just a million isolated random proposals competing against each other, they see how they each would fit together and complement one another. And that's actually really important, to see how the pieces fit together rather than just taking proposals one by one in an e-democracy platform. Liquid democracy definitely helps with that, but I think also a user interface in which proposals on the platform are aware of each other and how put some street lights in this street also complements ideas around keep build up some local services here as well for people to flock to and make use of, because it's already lit. So let's make the most of that existing proposal. And then some will sort of compete against each other, obviously, like build a sewage works here and build a skate park here, right next door. Obviously, they might cause problems being next to each other. So some way of everybody being able to kind of identify some way they respond to each other or relate to each other is important. Another way of implementing that, just finally, is again looking at Represent or any other e-democracy platform, from Voteflow to Brigade to Google Votes, which will be out in a year or two, and they will be big. They will make a big splash when they're out, maybe 2017, 2018. Is I want to be able to vote if. That's another way of forking or sort of building upon ideas or proposals. I want to go, I vote strongly in favour of this proposal if, and I lay down the conditions. So some proposals are very vague, they're pointless, and it's easy to see that they're just somebody's agenda, like make everything better, make it more equal, give women more power in politics. That's just a survey question, that's just philosophical, it's just obviously helping someone achieve some mysterious agenda of theirs. It's not really actually helping create policies, probably. So I want to know what's done with my answer, and by default it should say nothing, or we'll just see later maybe. But I'd like to go, I vote in favour of this if the street lights are energy saving light bulbs, then I am in favour of them being built here. But I'm actually against building more street lights here if they're not energy saving, then I'll just prefer it wasn't done at all. So there may be conditions, and those conditions are what will create more detailed proposals that are better informed and more useful. Obviously that does, forking it does mean more complexity in the interface. Democracy in its best form is not as simple as Tinder. We have to let go of that. And it may just be as epic a task as just having to slowly create a culture shift in society, to let go of that dream to create just an incredibly simple e-democracy platform. It may have a learning curve. Facebook is effective in the goals it seeks to achieve, and it's not simple. It's really not. If you've never seen it before, try showing it to your grandma. But it succeeds in the goals it sets out to achieve.